Hey guys, it's me again. I'm just gonna do like a kind of a quick video here for you guys. Again, it's not a murder case. It's more like an accident investigation. Um, Now, the way that this all went down, I've been bothered by it ever since it happened. So basically, the actress Anne Heche, she unfortunately had a car accident and passed away on August the 5th of this past year. It was absolutely terrifying and devastating because she was traveling at a really high rate of speed and she drove right into somebody's house. And the lady was home at the time. It's like a miracle that the lady that lived there didn't, die, or any of her pets for that in that case. Like, the house is completely destroyed. Like, they've got to rebuild the entire thing. And it's crazy because it seems like that whole morning that this happened, something was not quite right with Anne. Okay, she had been. Let's see here. I need to give you an idea of like how this all went down. She had started off that morning. Prior to like 11 a.m., like, um, 11 a.m. is pretty much the time of the crash. So if you backtrack a little bit, she, uh, she had done like a podcast. She had this like ongoing podcast. It was, called Better Together, and she like would do these little video like stories while sipping on wine or what have you. um she Let's see, that episode of her uh podcast that was released on the same day as the accident was completely just a coincidence. They filmed that on Tuesday. So, but if you didn't know that it wasn't a live thing, you would think that it was like right before she got in the car that day. But that wasn't the case. This was, on a Tuesday, and the crash happened on Friday. So basically, at first, like earlier that day, Anne was driving her vehicle around the LA area, and she crashed into the garage of an apartment building, like right like earlier. And there's a little bit of a video caught on that as well. And you can hear somebody telling her to get out of the car, and she's like yelling back, no. And then she takes off. Like, you can hear the car go as she's like, you know, burning rubber trying to get out of there. So that was like a hit and run situation. So I don't know, like, if the police were like kind of looking for the vehicle or what happened, but like there is video of the first crash. And I'm not sure if this was before or after the first crash, she went into a hair store. The place, let's see, it was the Glass Hair Design Salon in Venice. She went in there, and if that's only 2 miles away from where the crash happened. She went in there and she bought like this bright red wig. And the gentleman that owns the shop was like super excited that she just kind of walked in there. He's like starstruck. And she was, of course, totally sweet. And they took a selfie together. And that selfie, is probably the last known photo of Anne. Because right after she left there, she I mean, there's a ring doorbell camera that you see her. She drove a little Mini Cooper, a blue one. You see her fly past this house up the street. Like, she looks like she's doing like 100 miles an hour. That car's like zoom right past the ring camera. And like a few seconds later, you hear this bang, because she kept going. Like the road turned and she kept going straight, and she went right into this house. And of course, it instantly burst into flames, and she was in the vehicle, trapped on fire for 45 minutes before paramedics were able to get her out of there. So they had her on the stretcher and they were taking her over to the ambulance, and there were choppers overhead, like recording everything. And you see the stretcher come out with the paramedics, and there's like, it looks like a body bag on top of it, but it's really a white sheet. And Anne is underneath the sheet. And at some point, she like sits up on the girl. It's actually horrific to see, because you can kind of make out the fact that like her whole back is like, her skin is peeling off. You can see where her shirt is like melting into her. And it's only for like a millisecond that you see it. It was absolutely horrifying, you guys. And I personally have been kind of an Anne Heche fan for quite some time. I mean, when I was younger, the first time I saw her and I like, found out who she was I Know What You Did Last Summer. Now, if you guys know me, you know that like Buffy the Vampire Slayer is kind of my life, sort of. It's like my number two favorite show in the whole world after Walking Dead. But anyway, like Sarah Michelle Gellar is in I Know What You Did Last Summer, which was a big reason why I couldn't wait to see it. But you know what? So was Anne Heche. She's only in it for a few minutes. She plays like this like hillbilly sister chick, sister of the dead guy, and she's like living in the middle of nowhere, like, hunting animals, and she's like wearing nothing but a slip, and she's supposed to be like eccentric, you know what I mean? And Anne pulled that off so well. Like, I said to myself, who is that lady? Like, that was crazy. And that's when I found out who she was. And then a couple of years later, I happened to just catch on like TNT or TBS, one of those channels, that movie 6 Days, 7 Nights with Harrison Ford. Now that, I swear to God, is one of my favorite movies ever. Anne is absolutely genius as the part she plays. Like, she's this like high society businesswoman who has this really busy life, and like it's like her fiance sets up this getaway for her, and like he actually like behind her back like gets her out of work and like gets her on a plane and down to the islands and stuff. And like then they have to take this little prop job, plane, and I guess that it's just her and Harrison Ford, because the guy that plays the fiance is David Schwimmer, and like he's already at this like resort or something, and Anne has her character has this like major like conference call or something she has to do for work, so she has to like go back to the mainland to like use the equipment or whatever. So he hired the fiance hires Harrison Ford to fly her back and forth, and on their way back they get like stuck in this giant storm, and they crash, and it's just the two of them on this desert island, and they're like complete opposites, like he's like this laid back, guy that owns a two-engine plane that like makes money off tourists. He's kind of like shady, and he's a drinker and the whole bit. And she is like the total opposite, like hardworking, crazy, like businesswoman, basically. Just one of those women that have so much to do with their jobs that like they never get a time where they can just chill. So anyway, my favorite part of that movie, they're on the, they're about to crash, and she's popping Xanax. She tells him, "This is Xanax. My doctor gave it to me for situations of stress," right? And she takes one, and then like 5 minutes later, she's taking another one, and she says the same thing. And he's like, "You told me that already." It's just so funny, because she ends up getting like completely bombed on the Xanax, and then they crash, and like when she finally realizes, oh my God, I'm stranded on this deserted island with this guy, it was just the greatest movie. But anyway, I'm sorry, I really, I love that movie. And then a little bit later on, Anne was in a relationship with Ellen DeGeneres, and that, I mean, this was in the '90s. Like, it wasn't like it is now, where like being gay was like the coolest thing. Like, it's back then, it was still like kind of hush hush. Like, they actually like Anne's studio like forbade her from bringing Ellen as her date to the premiere, and she did it anyway, and then they got kicked out, and it was this big thing, and it was just like, people didn't we've definitely come a long way as a society as far as gay people go. That actually makes me kind of proud of us. But anyway, once again, I digress. So, this accident happened, and at first, like, we saw Anne pop up on the gurney. They got her to the hospital, and, like, for a while there, everybody was saying that, like, she was going to be okay. But then before you know it, her publicist is coming out saying, like, basically, she's not going to wake up. She's brain dead. Now, I wasn't surprised because the accident was horrific. The fire was, like, unbelievable, and seeing her in that condition, like on that gurney, in that split second where you can see her and you can see how badly she's burned. I didn't think she was going to make it. I really didn't. And turned out I was right. It's very sad. I wish that I had been wrong. I wish that there was a way that they could have saved her, but she had like thermal injuries inside from breathing in the fire and everything. Like, she was burned from the inside out. She was not, like, she was in so much pain, and the doctors had her in a medically induced coma so that she wouldn't be in pain. And eventually her son had to tell them, go ahead and disconnect it, and it was apparently a very, very major emotional thing. Like, the hospital did like an honor walk for her because they were able to give her organs to people that were needing them. She was a donor, so that was really beautiful. But in the same respect, it's so sad that we lost her. She was an amazing, amazing actress and a really great person. I had been following, I don't know how many of you guys watched the Johnny Depp trial. Now, Anne lived in the same building that Amber and Johnny lived in, the Eastern Columbia building in LA. Beautiful. Oh my God. Those apartments are like to die for. But Anne lived there, and Anne was also in the movie Donnie Brasco with Johnny Depp. So she was, really familiar with him. She knows that he would never hurt a fly. That whole Amber Heard thing was a nightmare, and Anne was definitely on Johnny's side, and actually saw her. She popped in on a stream, like on Popcorn Planet. They were doing like a interview with another lady that lives in the building. Her name's Amy Goodhart, and she actually was like BFF with Anne Heche. So as Amy's talking to them on Popcorn Planet, all of a sudden behind her is freaking Anne Heche. Popcorn Planet was like, "Oh my God, we're not worthy," like, because it came out of nowhere. She was just there. And that's a big deal, she's not like super famous, but I'll tell you what, if she popped in my live stream, I'd be like seriously starstruck. But anyway, the reason why I wanted to discuss this, just because, like, I'm just not okay with the way that this is going. Ever since it happened and they released, like, the autopsy report and the toxicology and all of that, originally they said that she had cocaine and fentanyl in her system, but they didn't know if the fentanyl was from the hospital or not. Like, are you kidding me? That's ridiculous. And I just don't, like, I feel like something is not right. Something's being covered up, and I just wanted to share my thoughts on it. Like, I'm not making a giant case study video on this. I just wanted to tell you guys, like, something that I was thinking that maybe possibly might kind of explain what happened a little bit. For example, okay, say that you're like a famous person and you're like trying to go under the radar and like not have paparazzi getting your photo. Like, all right, say you are like a famous person and you want to go out and you want to buy drugs and get high. All right, just leave it at that, okay? I don't care how famous, but let's just say like you're somebody that everybody knows and you want to go and buy drugs. don't you think that like the first thing you would do would be like to wear giant sunglasses and like a scarf over your head and try to hide yourself so you can't be photographed buying drugs? I personally think it's possible that's why she was buying that wig. I can't come up with another reason as to why in the world she would stop at a random hair shop and buy this bright red wig that I really doubted we'd ever see her wear. Like, it's not like she got that for any kind of like a fashionable reason. I think she bought it to kind of disguise herself so she could go and pick up some illicit substances and not be caught on camera. I could be wrong. I'm completely guessing, but this has been kind of like in the back of my head ever since this went down. And then now they're saying that like she wasn't high. Like she had the drugs in her system, but she wasn't high at the time of the crash. And another thing, at the time that she smashed into the apartment garages and there was those people yelling at her to get out of the car, there's video and you can see in the passenger side window, and if you look down in the cup holder, like in between it looks like it's a stick shift, and right in front of that there's, it looks like to me like a fifth, like one of them little bottles of booze. I can't tell what kind, but it's like a clear bottle with a red top. So I was wondering, was she, drinking that while she was driving? And was she on her way to pick up some either nose candy or the smoking kind? You know what I mean? Because it was cocaine in her system. So I'm just wondering, like, maybe she like was having a moment. Like maybe it was like a really bad day, or there was something happening with her that we just didn't know about, and she wanted to maybe just go forget her problems for a while. She couldn't be blamed. There's a lot of people in Hollywood that do that. I personally don't understand the allure of uppers, methamphetamine and cocaine and crack. I yuck. Okay, as a kid, I tried it all, and I never once enjoyed that experience. Anything that makes your heart pound, makes you sweat, makes you paranoid, makes you can't sit still, that's not my kind of fun. Give me a joint any day. I'm just not into the uppers, right? But some people, like, that's really, like, what makes them happy, what makes them feel better. Especially people that, have, like, ADHD or, um, like, mental illness. Like, a lot of times, or a manic people, bipolar, like, because when bipolar people are on the up, they're super happy. But when they're on the down, they are miserable and like pretty much suicidal for the most part. And I find that a lot of those people tend to use cocaine or crack to feel better, or to feel like they feel when they're up. Do you know what I mean? And I don't know if any of that's true, but I just wanted to put it out there. I wanted you guys to think, like, do you think maybe that's why she was buying that wig? Do you guys have any, like, theories on this? Because I don't believe that it was just an accident. I mean, it's not like I think someone killed her or, like, cut her brake lines or anything like that. I just, I just wish I knew more about, like, what phone calls did she make? Who did she speak to that morning? Did she talk to her kids? Like, did it seem like she was going somewhere? Like, was she kind of like hinting at goodbye to anybody? Was it a suicide situation? I mean, I just don't know, and it's really, really upsetting to me, and it really bothers me because she was a brilliant actress, and I seriously, like, I'm gonna miss her. Like, we could have had a lot more excellent movies with her in it, and honestly, I feel like she got a bad rap because after the Ellen thing, people just kind of forgot about her, and she was like, typecast and sort of, she was like the lesbian. And after Ellen, she had plenty of relationships, always with men. So I feel like Anne was probably like I am. Like I was with a woman for 6 years, but every other person I've been with is a man. Like, I'm not gay, I'm not even bi, I don't think, but I fell in love with the woman that she was. You know what I mean? Like, that one woman, I used to tell people while we were together, like, if we broke up, I can't say I would be out there looking for another girl, because that's not the case. It happened kind of by accident. And I mean, yeah, I really did love her. we were good together while it lasted, and then things happened and we just no longer were good for each other. We basically were um kind of each other's downfall, you know what I mean? So we had to break up, but she still was like my best friend. And I mean, she will always be one of my best friends. And unfortunately, she is gone now, my ex. She passed away in 2019. And she was only 50, so it's pretty hard on me still to this day. Like, I miss her so much. But I feel her sometimes. I really do. Like, and like funny stuff things we used to laugh at, or music we used to listen to. I really can't listen to Concrete Blonde anymore because that was like our thing. We even saw them in concert, and anyway, I digress. This isn't supposed to be about me, but I just wanted to say, like, with Anne, I'm wondering, like, I just kind of want your guys' feedback. Do you guys think that, like there was more to this? What do you think? Like, why do you think that she was out that morning anyway? Like, it seems to me like it was some sort of like an episode. If it wasn't like a relapse and like a trip looking for drugs, was it like some sort of mental break? Like, was she out of touch with reality? Did she know what she was doing? When she left the Eastern Columbia that morning, where was she going? Was she going to find like somebody to buy some coke off of? Did she stop at that wig store, hair store, so that she could get a disguise to go and purchase what you know what I mean? Like, I really, I want to know what you guys think. And I'm gonna go, because like I said, I didn't want to make this a big, long, drawn out video, but I just, while I have, makeup on and I don't look like I'm dead, let me just jump on here real quick, because I've been thinking about it. And I mean, people keep on making videos, and I keep seeing, like, I guess, um, there's some stuff going on between, her sons and, like, her ex, and, like, they're kind of arguing over who says what with Anne's estate. I don't know how specific her will was. I don't think she was even coming close to expecting to die at her young age. But I wonder. You know what I mean? And that's about it. I just wanted to go over the little story with you guys, and once again, please let me know what you think. And I'm gonna go, but I'll see you guys later. Bye.